answer. So Kristen, I'm going to make you the star of the show. You're going to come on so everyone can see you. We're going to get a nice little rapid fire of questions of where do you live? How much do you want to spend? Some fun stuff. But is there something, Kristen, that you do that you go, I know my husband doesn't love this, but it's just what I do?
Yeah, spend money.
Okay, good one. What do you love spending money on?
Travel.
Love it.
My kids.
Yeah.
That pretty much sums it up.
Okay. Is there something Rich does, if Rich watches this back, where he's like, I'm always, and it just bugs you?
Yeah, so he's a little OCD and he has to change the way my towel is hanging in the bathroom every morning.
Oh, okay.
Apparently I don't hang it correctly.
Oh, okay. That's
But
Kristen.
I've let it go. I just let him.
Well, kudos to you.
Yep.
I have a similar situation with toilet paper in my household. So if it's facing the wrong direction, I will get a talking to. So, Kristen, thank you for being here. For those of you who are just joining us now, what we're going to be doing is going over Kristen's case study. Kristen reached out going, hey, my husband's going to sleep better at night if we have a number. How much can we spend? How long do we need to work? And Kristen is in a unique spot where she's on track for retirement, meaning her lifetime income, but there's a lot of things going on. There's kids' college, there's travel, you just heard from Kristen, and there's what are we going to do? So what I'm going to do today, Kristen, is get to interview you. So everyone here gets to learn about why you're so cool and what we're all about here at Root. And we're going to have some fun. You ready to hop in?
Ready.
Okay. So first of all, where are you located?
Massachusetts.
Okay. Grow up there or move there?
Nope. Born and bred. I left to go to college and came back.
Okay. Right now, how old are you and how old is your husband?
I am 54, will be 55 in August. My husband just turned 60 in January.
Okay, beautiful. If I said, Kristen, you're not allowed to keep working, would you go, I just don't know what I would do with myself? Or would you go, I just have so many travel destinations. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Well, unfortunately, I need to get my youngest through high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am ready.
Okay. Let's assume I didn't. What if I forced you? You have to stop working tomorrow. Would you be
I could do
bored?
it. Oh, no, I could do it.
Okay. What would you spend your time doing?
Exercising and driving my kid around.
Yep. Mm-hmm. What are some of their activities?
Dance, competitive dance. That's what she does. She does it 20 plus hours a week, 6 days a week.
Wow.
And it's a good half hour from here every day.
Okay.
So a half hour there and a half hour back.
Okay.
And then there's competition weekends, which are entire weekends spent in hotels multiple times.
Yep. You're not worried about being bored, and I have a podcast recommendation for you for these drives. So love that. Now, in terms of spending, I've never met any couple that goes, we're on the exact same page. We want to spend on the exact same things. Some people are closer. You mentioned you travel. Does your husband want to travel to the same degree, or are you guys different in that way?
I want to travel to the same degree.
Okay. And right now, I want to get my daughter through high school. That I hear all the time because it's like, I'm just going to sleep better at night knowing, hey, daughter's through high school. If we want to travel, are not going to have as many things that are going to tie us down. Is it just that, or is there a financial part of you that's going, I feel like working right now is just so helpful because every year really gives us more buffer?
Well, I like money. I like to spend money.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about cutting back at work, and my husband said, if you cut back, you have to live on a budget. And I don't want to live on a budget. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just keep working.
Good for you.
I mean, it's only 3 years. 3 years isn't that long.
Yeah, it's not. Now, how much money is left over? And I'll share this with everyone so they can get a sense as to income and some other things. And this is awesome. So thank you, Kristen. In the software, a lot of you are already in this software, but this Lucas will put a link to if you're not already in. Kristen, your salary about $127,000 today, partner $197,000. Do you have a sense at the end of each month how much is just left over, meaning not going to get saved
Well, we don't have anything left over.
Okay, so it's all getting every dollar is being directed, whether it's going to future spending or college funding. Do
Yes.
you feel it's tight right now? Where you go, right now, there's no, like we're even struggling to save.
I feel that it's tight
Hmm.
because mostly because of dance. It's much more expensive this year than it ever has been before.
Hmm.
Um, but no, we save first, so we're not struggling to save.
Hmm.
The money
Okay.
goes to savings first, and then I kind of sometimes I have to juggle it around and dip into the superhero account to, you know, when I all the insurance bills all came due in January, and I was
Hmm.
like, oh well, there's not enough money in the checking account for that, so
Hmm. Yeah.
I had to dip in a little, but then that builds back up. So
Okay. Just two more questions, and then we're going to get into some fun stuff for you. So, is there an amount of money that would be too much money to leave to your daughters? Where, hey, if I left 5 million, I just don't think they'd work hard anymore. Or is it no? We want to spend on what we've worked hard to accumulate, and if there's something left over, awesome. How do you view that legacy component?
yeah, if there's something left, awesome. I have no intention of leaving a legacy. The legacy is paying for college. You know,
Yep.
graduating debt free is huge.
Hmm.
So that's our plan. And then, you know, along the way, if I'd rather spend the money while I'm alive and maybe help them with a wedding or help them with a down payment on a house or help them buy a car. I don't want them to have my money when I'm dead.
Love it. Last question. If I said, Kristen, you have to spend $300,000. And if you don't, it's going to your least favorite political party. You can't give it away. You can't give it to kids. You can't try to get all fancy on me. What would you spend that money on?
No. I'd buy a new car, I'd buy some new clothes, I'd renovate my
Hmm.
house. I'd take my friends on vacation.
Hmm. Love it.
I don't know, that's definitely more than 300,000. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm encouraging you to think about that. And the reason, and I love Rich, by the way, is a current client who's retired, and he's saying, yep, definitely spend when you're alive. No right or wrong to any of this, but I'm going to start giving you some thoughts here, Kristen, and then we're going to get to have a fun conversation. So, for
mhm.
everyone to get a sense as to where Kristen is at, currently $50,000 just in checkings and savings, $4.6 million in various accounts, which, Kristen, kudos to you because I did not do any of this. Some clients will say, oh my gosh, you helped me retire. I go, no, I didn't. You did the work. So you have over $1 million in the superhero account. This is the most important account that you have that will allow an early retirement to occur. It's not your largest account, but it's the most important account. So good job here. You've got some other stocks. We've got some 529s for the kids. Husband's got his 401k. You have an IRA that's been rolled over. You have your 403b, and then you've got Roth IRAs as well. So I want everyone to get a sense as to, okay, there's a few different moving pieces here. And then you have your home, and it looks like you own that outright. Is that correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So great work here. What I want to show you is how I would look at this. And I would look at it a little. I'm going to give you two things that might seem like they're conflicting, but I promise it's going to help. So, my gut check when I looked at your plan here, Kristen, ahead of time, is I don't know why this lady is working unless she loves it. And what happens is, I'm not saying you should retire, but what I'm seeing is right now you're currently sitting at 4.7 million in assets, and looks like there's 12 million that could be left over at the end. Now, what I'm assuming is if you were to stop working, which I don't think is something you're going to do, and I actually don't recommend it in your case because I think you would sleep better knowing, hey, daughter's through high school. I'm also not miserable. Is it true you're not miserable at work? Is that a safe assumption?
Most days I'm not miserable.
Okay, most days, and that's telling because you might go, I said 3 years, it's not that long. 3 years becomes 2 years, which becomes Friday real quick. Okay. So, with that being said, this whole process as to you putting information in, this is to get you a gut check. It's not to be 100% accurate. What I would like to do is I'd like to go deeper because on the surface, you could make it happen. If you said, Ari, I just want to be done. Kristen, the reality is you're in a really comfortable spot It might feel weird because you're like, my friends don't have 4 million or 5 million. My friends, they feel like they're 10 years away from retirement. So I don't know if we could really make this happen. It just feels wrong. I'll call that head trash. When I look at your withdrawal rate, Kristen, on paper, which is how much income we're going to pull so that you can live, what you can see here is there's a few numbers here that are higher than I would like. 8%, 9%, 10%. That's not me saying you couldn't retire, but it's me saying if we were to get unlucky and markets don't do so well, and you were to say, Ari, no matter what, I'm traveling, I'm bringing my friends, they've gotten used to this. They're spoiled. They now think they're getting first class everywhere. And you are not willing to shift how income gets spent, then we'd have a problem. The real thing I hope you realize, though, is your withdrawal rate, Kristen, it gets really, really low. I would argue too low. This is where I get upset with my clients, where I go, you're going to be 80 wishing that you spent more money. And so what I would like you to do, and I'm going to do this with you now, to really bring confidence is I want to dive deeper into the goals, because what you put here for me is $16,000 in terms of monthly spending, about $200,000 a year. That would allow us to live. But you even mentioned, I said, hey, you got to spend 300,000. You said I could do it. So what I would love to do with you, if that's okay, is I'd like to dream for a second, just a little bigger on some of these goals. So I want to add some goals, and this is something everyone can do. I want to add long-term care as the first goal. And it's going to make an assumption here. It's going to say, well, if we're in a nursing home, the national average is 127,000 for you and your spouse. I like to have just 3 years. That's the average is about 2.5, but 3 years. Any concerns with me adding this goal, Kristen?
Nope, sounds good. I
Okay.
want somebody to take care of me.
Oh yeah, we can train Rich together if you need.
Yeah.
New cars. You mentioned, hey, if I really had more money, I would buy new cars. Well, one of the things we're going to talk about in a little bit, Kristen, is your current assets. You've done a great job. I'm really not concerned with you saving that much more money. And I'd rather you prioritize current money to help out with these dance tournaments. I'd rather you prioritize because you've already done a great job saving. You adding more money is not as important as investing well. So let's just dream for new cars. We're just going to assume when it comes to, I'm just going to say every 10 years, let's start it next year. Just, I don't know if you're a car person, but is there an amount that just kind of comes to mind? 30, 40, 80, 100?
Let's get $100,000 car. I could do that.
Let's do it. 100,000 every 10 years. Now, do you like every 10 years or would you like new cars more frequently?
10's about our average.
Okay, let's do 10. And then I want to add, and some of you are going, oh, I'm falling asleep here. You shouldn't be falling asleep because I want you thinking about these same things. I like adding these. And the reason I want to add these is, guys, what we need to prevent is Kristen getting unlucky. And the risk is we do a new car, we do a wedding, we do a remodel, and we don't time it properly. What happens is if we get unlucky, Kristen's still going to be okay, but she might not be taking the same amount of trips as we'd want her to. So we want to get strategic about this. So, Kristen, is it safe to say you're going to want to help out kids with weddings?
Yes, I would like to.
Okay. And before I do that, one of our clients is giving you some guidance here, Kristen. Ari, savings no longer matter as much as her wealth compounding at this point. Just something, once again, always want in the back of our head. So, new weddings, you're not going to do it probably at the same time, but for ease here in everyone's, time, I'm just going to ask for an amount. Let's assume you were to do both of them in the same year, which you wouldn't, but any amount
Well,
come to mind?
sure. Let me give I'll give each of them 20 grand.
Okay, so 40 total.
Yeah.
Perfect. CFP right here, Kristen. You see that? Okay. So next one, and for those who don't know my joke on that, I'll say, how many doctors would you never let touch your body? Don't hire someone because they're a CFP. I would give more people who watch my videos my money to manage than CFPs I've met. Now, I already like that you put this in here, spending during the go-go years as a placeholder. But right now, it's in here as a one-time expense. we're probably not going to do it once. We're probably going to do it every year. And you're probably going to want to do it from the time you retire, which is why I want it in a certain way instead of this year. I want this from the day you retire until, what do you think, 15 years, 20 years?
Oh, 20 sounds good.
Let's go 20. And I want you to dream big, and I want it to be uncomfortable. Let's assume you're taking your friends on the trips, which I already love that you're willing to do that, which is one of my biggest recommendations to clients that have saved well like yourself, is take them, because otherwise you wouldn't have as much of a fun time, and you've done well. But I also want this to be family trips. So I'm asking you to kind of put all vacation in one. If I were to say 75,000 on an annual, do you go, that seems high, that seems low? What are you thinking?
Well, since I don't normally pay attention to what we pay for vacations, I don't really know. That's
Okay.
Rich's job.
Let's put 50,000, and when Rich comes on the
Okay.
show in the future, we'll grill him on it. So
All
that's
right.
50,000 a year every year in addition to this monthly
Oh,
expenses, okay?
okay.
So what we
I'm
want
living
to do,
large.
I know, right? I'm not saying you get to do all of this. We're going to get to look into it. But this 16,000, I don't really like when people group everything in, because I want this to be just, okay, what are the basics? The groceries, gas, normally a mortgage, but you've already done a great job. You paid that off. So let's just go a little bit on the, okay, think necessities here. My gut is thinking maybe 8 to 10,000 a month, but any thoughts on that?
I was just thinking 10.
Okay, let's put 10. Now, there's more that I would like to do, but in light of time, I'm going to skip a few. But I would encourage, if some of you are thinking, we're going to want to relocate and downsize, or buy a second home, or we're going to want to get a real estate property, whatever it is, put them in. But the reason I want to do this is, if we go back to this retirement tab, and this is really, Kristen, for Rich, what you're going to see here is, if I put this on the original plan of work until 58, work until 63, and I go in and add these goals, new cars, new weddings, and I save them, what you're going to see, and this is really what good planning, in my opinion, is all rooted in, is what you're going to see. Before, it said something like, you're on track for $12 million. Well, now it's showing more. Why is that? Well, it's showing more, and the reason is because I'm having you work to the traditional 58 and 63, but we switch 16,000 a month to 10,000 a month. Because the reality is, Kristen, you're probably not going to spend 200,000 every single year from now until the day you pass away, just because I don't see clients who really do that. But you'll probably, if you were to see what you just saw, oh my gosh, $17 million, you might want to up this to 75,000. You might go, I could get new cars for 125,000. Me making these tweaks, to me, this adds a lot of confidence, because you can see, yeah, there's 2.4 million fewer dollars, but Kristen, look at this. You're still on track for $15 million. So looking at this, if there's one thing that you go, I'd really want to increase this, would it be travel? Would it be new cars? Would it be long-term care? Or would you go, these seem pretty good? Like, if I had 10,000 a month or 120,000 a year, plus 75,000 for travel, plus new cars, plus weddings, what I'd really love to do is kind of decrease some of the savings. Kristen, what if you stopped doing your 401k? And you might go, that feels weird. We've been doing that the last 30 years. I know. What if you stopped 529s? You're not allowed to save anymore. Let's see what that does to the plan. Well, what you're going to see is, it makes a difference, but Kristen, it's not really a huge difference. Before it said 2.5 million, now it's 2.4. I hope what you're realizing in doing this, and I'm going to stop sharing, and you're going to tell me if this was English or if you're like, I have no idea what you're saying anymore, is you are in a spot where, if you were to add in more goals, kids' college entirely, potentially grad school, if you were to add in travel at 100,000, if you were to stop saving entirely, you're in a very comfortable position. So what we'd want to do at this point is align the timing, because if you buy a new car and we didn't add a home remodel and we didn't add XYZ, What happens is now Rich might go, ooh, I mean, I get Ari said this and he's confident, but I'm still not feeling that. So as you're seeing this, did I create more confidence, or more confusion, or how are you feeling?
Oh no, more confidence for me for sure.
Okay. Is
I'm
there any?
gonna I'm gonna bump up that travel budget.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. Now, there's one thing I want to show everyone here, and this is because a big aspect of what we talk about when it comes to investment planning, and you're welcome, Ebby. Some of you guys are answering each other's questions in the chat. So thank you, is the portfolio. And this is the one thing, if there's any guidance I could give Rich, your husband, who's not here today, is I would say, Rich, you are a human. You're not a robot. That is why you want a number. But this magical number doesn't really exist of 2 million or 5 million or 10 million. It's about what would you want your plan to look like. So here's what I want to do with you. And I don't know if I've done this with all of you here yet, but I'm going to do 3 portfolios because I'm going to show you something that's really cool. I'm going to do a 50-50 portfolio. I'm going to do an all stocks and I'm going to do an all bonds. Guys, are you falling asleep on me in the comments? Is this cool to see? Is this helpful? Please let us know. Not a lot of participation I'm seeing, so please let me know. So what you can see is portfolio 1, 50-50. Thank you, Lucas, for putting in the chat. Portfolio 2, 100% stocks. And portfolio 3, 100% bonds. With me so far, Kristen?
Yep.
Okay.
My husband would never put 100% in bonds ever.
Good. That's my kind of guy, by the way. Neither would I. I have clients 100% equities. And so what I'm going to show you is I'm going to assume I'm going to use your numbers. Okay. So we're starting with $4 million. Okay. And you want to take out a fixed amount, meaning we could show, hey, Rich, you said you want 200,000. Let's see what it would look like if we were to look at different scenarios. Ready? So one looks really good, one looks okay, and one looks really bad. And so what this is saying is if you have $4 million and you retired in 1986, just picking a random time, here's how each portfolio would end up. So the green, okay, is all stocks. And you can see it had a really good run, then it had a little bit of a rough run, and then it kept going up and down and up and down. But over the, X amount of years, there would be $63 million. Now, let's be clear, everyone. It's really not 63 million because 63 million is not going to be worth 63 million. But this is something that you can see would occur if you had all stocks. What you're not seeing is all the volatility like right now. So I'd want to ask you, Kristen, are you losing sleep? We'd have a whole investment conversation. The 50-50 is the one right in the middle. You started with 4 million. You spent 200,000 every single year, Kristen, and there's still 20 million at the end. And then the all bonds, well, that one you can see ran out of money in 2023. Make sense here?
Yep.
Cool. I'm going to switch one thing. The only thing I'm going to switch, and this is where my clients go, oh my gosh, I see why you don't do a traditional withdrawal rate based off a number, is if we were to do a percentage instead of 200,000, it might make Rich feel more uncomfortable because Rich is like, I wanted 200,000 a year. That's what I was kind of banking on. That's what's going to allow me to sleep at night. It's just unrealistic. You're going to do a remodel. You're going to travel. I might ask you, Kristen, to please spend 300,000 or 400,000. And Rich is going to be like, I haven't made 400,000. How am I going to spend that? Because you're a human once again. But let's now put in a withdrawal rate of just 4%. Guys, do I like the 4% rule? Let me know in the comments, please. Thank you for those who are commenting. But I know some of you are driving and don't get in an accident. Don't sue me. But please, guys, participate. So 4% withdrawal rate. You can do a lot better than that. But if I were to do that, I want you to watch what just happened. All I did was switch 200,000 a year to 4% withdrawal rate. And all of the scenarios, even the worst one here, of all bonds, that one still you came out on top. And the reason for this is if you're willing to be dynamic with a withdrawal rate, what happens is if there's a year where markets are not doing well, and I'm going to go big just for a second. If markets are not doing well, we're down 10%. You have 4 million, you're down 400,000. I would probably want my client not to take that same 200,000 no matter what. I'd want them to take less. So we like looking at it as a percentage versus as a dollar amount, and you can see that impact that it can have. So is that helpful to see, Kristen, or any thoughts on that?
Yes, it's helpful. My husband is going to keep it all in stocks.
Okay. Well, to be honest, if you guys have not read it, Lucas can vouch to this. One of the books that we'll tell our clients to read is this one right here. Laura and Shane, guys, what did you guys think? Because you guys are in the comments right now. Simple Wealth, Inevitable Wealth talks about where when it comes to building wealth, stocks are historically the best way to do that. So what we want to do is make sure we have enough safe money. So if we ever get unlucky, you're okay, but we want that growing long term. So the final thing that I wanted to touch on before I'm going to bring in our special advisor in just a little bit. So, Stephen, thank you for your patience here. Is Kristen, tax strategy. Tax strategy is the big one. And I alluded to the unethical advice that I saw earlier that I mentioned. But what I don't want you to do is make this mistake of clicking this tax tab, clicking the strategies here, and it's going to show OMG, 680,000 more dollars. How cool is that? Yes, Kristen, you're probably going to want to do Roth conversions because you have a lot of pre-tax money and you probably couldn't spend all of that if you tried. And you probably want your children to inherit money and not have to pay taxes on those dollars, which is why I'm a big fan of doing things like Roth conversions. But before going to something like that, I would encourage you to go in here and dream bigger and ask yourself, okay, what if you did retire at 57? And what if long-term care was 4 years? And what if Rich you knew he could prioritize his health and he stopped earlier and you wanted to spend 100,000 a year on travel? Okay, well, that will change the Roth conversion recommendation. It's going to show there's less dollars. I mean, instead of 17 million, there's 9 million. But good luck quantifying your health of you getting to stop work earlier and spend time with family and friends and things like that. So if we go back and we click on the tax tab here under tax strategies, it might actually show that you should not do Roth conversions, that it would be better to do nothing at all because it's showing, Kristen, that you're spending more money on things you care about. So Roth conversions are great. They're helpful, but you don't want to go to a Roth conversion before looking at, could I spend more money and could I retire earlier? These are people that I find are so much of, oh my gosh, I saw a video, it can add so much money. It certainly can. But we want to make sure first we're doing what we care about most, because I've never had anyone at 90 say, I'm so glad my Roth conversion strategy filled up this bracket versus I'm glad I took 30 more trips with my family. So make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I want to take the 30 more trips.
Love it. And I know, for those who are not here, if you are not at the beginning, that's okay. But I want to show Kristen's original email to bring it full circle. The email we got from you, Kristen, was, I'd love to be a case study for your live show. My husband and I have worked hard to save. He's very comfortable with aggressive investing. All of our investments are in stocks. We have a superhero account. We'll be paying for college for our daughters. The part I'm most confused about is, where do I take money from first? I know we need to do some Roth conversions. So what I would encourage you to look into, if you're unaware, Kristen, is something called tax gain harvesting. Have you heard of that before?
Yep.
Okay. So that's a strategy that might be really applicable so that those gains you have in your superhero account, you could diminish over time, and it would allow you to do the home remodel and allow you to travel and allow you to help kids at a time right now where it might be a whole lot more impactful, because them inheriting $1 million later might not help as much as, honestly, maybe allowing, and I'm not saying you have to do this, but my mom did what I'm going to tell you right now, Kristen, when she did not have the money to do this. So this is not my recommendation, but my mom, I played soccer growing up, and there were kids that did not have the money to stay at a hotel, and she would pay for everyone's hotel so that people wouldn't have to drive further for a tournament, even when financially she should not have done that. These are things that really can get you to go, wow, it always felt weird thinking that I could spend this money because I've been a saver my whole life. So
Yep.
It doesn't happen overnight. This is not a light switch that I'm asking you to go, boom, now I'm a great spender. But any other questions for me? Was this helpful today? Any thoughts?
It was very helpful. So Rich and I did have a conversation because what I do when I'm sitting in the dance parking lot is listen to your podcasts.
Okay.
So I want to take some money and put it in a safe place
Mhm.
to have, like you've talked about, a few years worth of safe money,
Yeah.
and then let him just put the rest as aggressive as he wants.
Mhm.
Where would be the place to put it?
Yeah. So if this is money that you go, probably in a year, maybe 2 years from now, I know I'm going to want to do a home remodel. I know that I'm going to want to use these funds for college or something like that. I do not want those dollars running for us. And I'll use this example of every dollar should have a job. Some dollars should be sprinting. We don't need it. It can go and it can sprint for us. Other dollars, maybe they should be jogging for us. We might need that in 5, 10 years. Other money, I want it walking nice and slow. So if I call its name, it can turn around and I can have it right now. And I don't really want those to get a great return. So you have 50,000 in your checking savings. That's great. But I don't want you to get 0.01%. We know we're going to need this money in a year and we don't need it right now. So something like a high yield savings account or a CD ladder where you're intentionally going, I know when I'm going to need this money. I can guarantee 5%. I can guarantee it's going to be there. There's a peace of mind associated with that. So I would encourage you to look into things like CD ladders, short-term treasuries, inflation protected securities. We'd want to go a whole lot deeper, but something that's going to be what we call a war chest of safe money. So if you were to forget your password, you know you're going to be okay.
Right.
Yeah, good
Thank
question.
you.
Of course. That's all I've got for you, Kristen. I'll follow up via email with you and I'll put your plan back to how it was so I didn't mess up anything. But if you want me to keep anything I did, just let me know.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. See you, Kristen.
Bye-bye.
Guys, was that helpful to see? I think sometimes getting to see someone in live time go, yeah, I didn't even like, I was telling her to spend 300,000, 400,000, literally like double spending. And guys, what you haven't seen me do, which I'm probably going to do in a week or so, is bring on someone who's not in the awesome position Kristen is. Because sometimes I have to deliver news of, hey, I know you want to spend 200,000 a year. You have 1.2 million. That's not in the cards unless you want to work 10 more years. And they're like, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, I want to be 6'5". Okay, that's not happening either. So, guys, was that helpful? PETA, yes, helpful. Dustin, money market funds, another good option. Ebby, that was awesome. Guys, this is why we love doing this. Bye, Kristen. Okay, so in light of